All right, thanking the Lord as always off top, giving God all the honor, the glory, and all the praise. Giving a great shout out to the YouTube family and Facebook family, brothers and sisters all around the world. This video, I want to talk to the musicians. Big shout out to all the musicians around the world, whatever you play, singers. I had a question a while back about doing this video. So really what I want to title this video is every musician or singer should know their weakness. You should know your weakness. And I mean this out of love. I can always talk about myself, but that's all I can talk about anyway. When you go through that struggling period, I always tell people each day I get on the piano, it's a learning experience. And it don't matter how long I've been playing, it's a learning experience. Every musician should know their weakness. Their weakness. And when you know what your weakness is, that's why you work on it. How are you going to get great on the keyboard if you only play in A flat? How you going to ever get the whole beauty of the piano if you only play in B flat? And that's the only key you want to know. If you have a weakness in keys, learn all 12. You know what I mean? Go, what you do in C, go on up a half a step. Go on down. Go back up. Go all the way down. Go to C, go to D flat, go to D, go to E flat, fall down to E natural, go to F, hop up to G flat or F sharp, fall down to G, jump up to A flat. You know, go all the way down. Go to the key of A natural, A minor, B flat minor, the key of B, which a lot of people don't like playing it. The problem is a lot of people want to hit fat chords in keys they don't like playing in. But I got a news flash for you. It ain't about fat chords. You can play some of the smoothest music with regular chords. See, the bass line is a trick to most things that a lot of people don't like to tell you or show you. And when you get to the point where you know, man, I'm weak in this area, then that's when you buckle down and you do some serious studying. See, my problem was, let me talk about JT for a minute. My problem was this left hand and how handicapped my left hand was. And it's still not all the way where I want to be, far from it. But the trick is on the piano, learn how to chord with your left if you're right-handed. You know, vice versa. If you're right-handed, learn how to do it with your left. But I'm right-handed, so my weakness was my left hand because I'm like Midi Man. All my life, up to, when my little brother started playing the bass, this was my bass player, my left hand. And when you have to run bass lines all the time, people, trust me, I'm talking from experience. When you have to run bass lines all the time, when it's just you, this will handicap you. But I mean that by saying that it handicaps your left hand from chording like you want. And then when you get a bass player, you got to learn how to stop running the bass line with your left hand. Then you get to do those 13s, those 11s. You get to free up this hand when you get a bass player. But Midi Man, I know you can relate. And a lot of y'all, if you don't have a bass player, this is your bass player. And you get in the routine of doing this for years and years. And then when it comes time to having a bass player, then you got to, your mind frame have to change. Okay, I can't run the bass line no more. I got a bass player. But that was my problem. I didn't get the chord for a long time. And this was my bass player. So I can run bass lines all day long and all night long. And my problem was trying to get this right hand, trying to get my left hand to do the same chords in my right hand. And that's hard. That was hard for me. And it still is difficult depending on what kind of chord it is. I'm not all the way there. So I be doing stupid stuff. I look at my hands and I talk to him. I say, you ain't all the way there. You got to get to where he is. And I challenge myself. When you get to the point of challenging yourself, musicians, that's the key. I mean, you can't call yourself a mechanic and you just work on Chevy. No. If you're going to be a mechanic, you're going to have to learn how to work on all the cars. This is why I'm so hard on people when it comes to transposing, because I want people to learn the beauty of the piano. Don't limit yourself to 2 or 3 keys. Learn all 12. If you can do it in C, you can wind up doing it in all the rest of them. But the problem is you got all this technology out, and it has handicapped musicians. They done became very lazy. Well, I don't need to learn how to do this. Well, you cannot call yourself a true musician and you just playing A flat and C sharp and E flat. You might as well go on and learn the whole thing. And I mean this out of love. People, if you get mad at what I'm saying, oh well, you'll get over it. Because the truth need to be told. That's why people get mad. Some musicians get mad at other musicians because they play in all 12 keys, so they'll start hating on them. Instead of spending all their time hating, do like they did and spend all the time learning all 12. You should want to push yourself higher and higher. I always tell people practice don't make me perfect. It just make me better because I have mistakes. And the biggest problem is, the hardest thing for most musicians to do is work on their weakness. Now I don't know what your weakness is. It might be you it might be you don't want to play in all 12 keys. That might be your weakness. I'm just limited to A flat, or I only play in the key of C. I need to start learning more key. Yes, you need to start learning more key. If you already know C, why you gonna keep going in the room practicing on C? Okay, if you done went through C a whole lot, see if you can do the same thing in D flat. Jump in one of them weird keys you don't like playing in, like B. Or go to A natural, or go to the key of E. I'm gonna tell you something, them are beautiful keys, people. See, I had got a whole lot of my training off R&B music, old school music. I always told folks, man, that's what they asked me what I used to practice on, old school music. When you do the history on a lot of old school music, when you get to messing with Gap Band and Earth, Wind and Fire, so on and so on, Maze, Frankie Beverly Maze, you'll see that a whole lot of those songs was in the key of E. Most people that start off learning the bass, they learn playing them songs in E. And that's because E is that first string on that fourth string. You got E, A, D, G. So it's easy to learn Let's Groove Tonight by Gap Band. Earth, Wind, and Fire, excuse me. Learning one of them songs. It's so many of them songs in the key of E. That's why when I started out, E was not hard for me. Let me say that right. It was hard at first, but I started seeing, hey, how many songs in these keys? I said, man, I can use this same chord in the Maze song. I can use this same chord in the Marvin Gaye song. And that's how you build up your vocabulary. And once you get a vocabulary of chords, then you learn a set of new chords. And I always tell people, here's the thing, know your style. See, everybody don't play urban. Everybody don't play contemporary gospel. Like Midi Man, let me use Midi Man for an example. Midi Man loves the quartet. I love quartet. People don't kick quartet to the curb in so many ways. I don't like quartet. It's boring. No, you just boring. You need to learn how to spice up your music. I love quartet. That's how I learned a lot of music also, because quartet, you had that gut bucket down home beat, and it didn't matter what key it was in. The problem is you got to get out of laziness. Tell yourself, I can do it. If you can spend all the time on Facebook, you can spend all the time on your keyboard. See, the problem is just people just learning just enough to get by and get a check. And that's why you have so many musicians hating on each other. Because I heard this everywhere I go. Man, that nigga can't even play. But he making $600-700 a Sunday. I can play better than him. He only playing A flat and B flat. This is what I heard no matter where I go. He ain't that good or she ain't that good. And then when a person that come up and can play in all 12 keys, done learn the keyboard or organ, they getting hated on because he ain't got no problem going to B. He ain't looking for the transpose button. Once you learn your craft, invest in your craft, spend time in learning. See, I always tell people, I just speak for myself, I didn't want to just learn quartet. I wanted to learn all the styles I could learn. And every day I get on the keyboard, I'm trying my best to learn. Because being a minister of music and a producer, I had to learn how to play everything. And a lot of people just limit themselves. They don't want to go no higher. That's why when you are a minister of music, you got to play. Oh, you got the men this Sunday. So we got quartet this Sunday. Oh, I got the children's choir this Sunday. Then I got the young adult choir. Then you got the mass choir. So you wind up having different styles of music. And if you just gonna play, well, I don't want to learn the children's music. You don't need no kids choir then. And you can't keep putting these same old chords in some of this new music. But at the same time, everybody are different. You know, that's why you can tell the difference between a down home gospel player and then somebody that just play R&B. Then that's why you can tell that, okay, that's an organist right there, or he a keyboardist, he a pianist. He don't have that. He ain't an organist, so he don't spend all his time on the organ. And then you see people like John Peters. I like to say like P.J. Morgan, and they can just whip that organ. And then when somebody see him on the piano, they be like, man, no, I like him better on the organ. See, you got to just go on break down. Buy what you need to buy. Spend that time that you need to spend that time. You know what your weakness. Whoever looking at this video, you know what your weakness is. And what's so funny to me is people know what their weakness is, but then when you tell them, they get an attitude with you. Man, you know what's wrong with you. So I don't need nobody to tell me what's wrong with me. I know what's wrong. That's why I talk about myself. Man, my left hand is weak. I've been saying that for years. I done ran these bass lines so long. That's why when me and my little brother started getting together, he started playing in church with me. He used to have to walk over there and cut my foot pedals off on the organ. That was my other problem. I couldn't stop my left leg from running bass lines because once you do everything by yourself for a long time, it takes a while to split. And then I don't always have a bass player at all times, a lot of times when I go out. So I never forget how to run bass lines. That's why it's a challenge. You got to remember how to run bass lines. Then you got to remember how to chord with your left. I used to take, every week I would go and get on the organ or the piano, and I would practice playing a song. I would tie my right hand up to make sure I wouldn't use it. I did. I would take a little rope and tie my right hand up, and I would just start chording with this left and put my right hand down because I already know how to chord with my right. So I started trying to make my left hand do what my right hand was doing and taping my right hand down, and I would chord with this left. And then by having a motif or any kind of recording keyboard, I would go in there and do a little simple track with laying a bass line down, and I would practice my rhythm with my left hand with a beat. And the bass line, it could be a song like This Little Light of Mine. And then I would come back with my right hand and start playing it without the bass line. And I got in the habit of training myself. And and giving a great shout out to Jamal Hartwell and Cassandra O'Neal and all the big time people who I have studied a lot of material from and that helped me advance. See, the problem is people don't want to spend no money and they don't want to invest in their craft. Or, oh man, that costs too much money. I'm gonna tell you something. I would drop $80 quick on any DVD that come out without even thinking about it. Because if I know I'm invested in something that's gonna better me, just like that book, man, Khalid did. I don't have no problem, brother, investing in something that's going to help me get better. So I ain't the one going around here looking for stuff for free all the time. That's not me. And when people don't want to help me, that just make me learn even more. I'm going to find a way. Excuse me. The Lord will make a way somehow, just like he did with me. I ain't went to nobody's school for this or the piano. And I thank God for that because everybody ain't meant for college. I was times when I wanted to go, but I saw the plan that God had for me in my life. He had a whole different route for me to go on. I never understood it at first. And then Pop lifts me up. Big shout out to you, Pop, because you always tell me how good I am. See, Pop used to brag on me when I was on the drums. And I didn't even see what Pop was saying a lot of times. I never would have thought I would have wound up playing the piano. But that just go to show you when God have a plan for your life. I didn't know I was going to be on the keys, never. Matter of fact, my oldest brother was playing the keys, and I was on the drums. Then he wound up playing the drums, and I fell in love with the piano. And I started picking it up just like this. God blessed me with a gift, this earth especially. I mean, I could play anything I heard. I don't care what kind of song it is. And then he blessed me even beyond that. I can sit there and track it out and lay a whole track. It don't matter what the song is. Gospel, R&B, country. I can hear it and lay it in the keyboard just like I heard. That's a blessing from God. I can't take no credit on that. So when you know what your weakness is, work on it. Be blessed.